What's up, Facebook and Facebook lands? We are live. It is Wednesday again. We're doing this every Wednesday. Not anymore. I'm not going to lie. This is going to be the last one I do till the end of the year. I'll mention this at the end for those of you who are on right now, but I'm not going to be doing any more of these Wednesdays until the end of the year. We have a ton of things on our plate, and I'm going to be traveling, and we've got the holidays and all kinds of other things like that. I am excited about doing this one. What's up, Steve? How's it going, buddy? All right, so this is again effectively my last Q&A for this year. For Wednesdays, I may do some stuff randomly, but this is the last one that's going to be scheduled for the year. So if you have questions, make sure you bring them today. If you are hesitating to ask questions in any way, shape, or form, make sure you're asking them. What's up, Steve, man? I miss you too, man. And I know we need to get together. I'm always working like a crazy person and then hanging out with the kids. Hope you and your family are doing good, buddy, for sure. And yeah, so yeah, bring your questions. Make sure that you ask whatever you want to ask. I want to answer it. And help as many people out as we can. So exciting stuff. We have our virtual event tomorrow. If you haven't signed up for a virtual event, make sure you go to fliptalkvirtualsummit.com and sign up. That is tomorrow, Friday and Saturday, 3 days. What's up, Matt, buddy? And we're going to be crushing it. This is going to be talking about, really conquering and taking over 2021, talking about some high level stuff, deep diving into some systems and processes and building a team and all kinds of really cool things. So if you have not got your ticket for the FlipTalk Virtual Summit yet, make sure you go to fliptalkvirtualsummit.com and do that, make that happen. You don't want to miss it. You will regret it. I guarantee it. I always over deliver. Um, and yeah, so the holidays are coming up here, and the end of year is coming up. We are doing a lot of strategy sessions in our business, and we are making a lot of plans for what's going to happen in 2021 and what's going to be coming, in the new year. Looking at, the opportunities are unfolding. We're looking at, ways we can better our business. One of my main goals in my business right now is to be more profitable at the end of the day, to keep more money. You always hear the saying, it doesn't matter what you make, matters what you keep. And we talk about all the time how people will show you on the higher reel that they're crushing it, right? I got this check and I got this check and I got that check, but how much are they really keeping? At the end of the day. And so my mission for 2021 is to make sure that I keep more money in my business. And that's some stuff that we'll be sharing in the next 3 days as well. We got a Facebook user here. It says, "Hey, Don, if you were to look into your crystal ball, how does the overall market appear as we close out 2020?" And that's a great question. So, how does the overall market appear as we close out 2020? And unfortunately, I don't have a crystal ball. I wish I did, but I don't want to sound like a broken record when I say this. It's we're in an unusual market. When COVID hit, I was very fearful that we were going to crash and burn for a lot of reasons. And the government did a stimulus, and they did a stimulus and gave out a lot of money, and they kept businesses afloat, and they dropped interest rates. And there's just a lot of things, a lot of factors that are driving what is an unusual market. We are in, most markets in the U.S. right now, not all, but most are on fire. In my market, I mean, prices are going up. Prices are going up so quickly that appraisals are not keeping up, unfortunately. And it's an interesting climate. The thing that scares me about it is there isn't underlying support, right, for it to continue. People are losing their businesses right now with COVID. People are losing their jobs with COVID. I'm in the state of California, and we're talking about another shelter in place, going back to the original type of lockdown that we had way back in the beginning of COVID. And some states are doing that. Some states are still really loosey goosey. And so there's a lot of confusion in the market, and a lot of things that say that even though the markets are on fire, they shouldn't be. So I think that ultimately, what 2020 and 2021 are going to look like is going to really depend on a few things. It's going to depend on what other relief comes out, what other bills come out that stimulate the economy. It's going to depend on what what they do with the interest rates, whether or not they stay where they're at or they start to increase them. I think, even minor increases in the interest rate could start to create a situation where the market slows. Um, so there's a few things that I feel like we need to watch for. And so in my business, I have went about 50% virtual. I've started to stream my operation a little bit more. I've cut some expenses and some costs. I have really, I think, upped, my expectation of my team and their abilities. And I am really I'm doubling down on systems and processes, right? Again, getting more money out of the project versus trying to do more projects. If I'm be real, I've done a couple hundred deals a year consistently, and this year I'm really working on more profitability. And if we do the same amount of projects, we do the same amount of projects. But at the end of the day, I just want to make more money. So that's ultimately my goal, my push for my business and my operation. Um, the uh the one thing that we're working on very heavily right now is being very picky about what we're rehabbing and what we're not. We're being very selective about the type of deals we're going to take on as rehabs. Most of know that there are supply chain issues. If you're rehabbing, there are supply chain issues in some areas. Windows that would take 2 weeks are taking 6 weeks or more, or 10 weeks in some cases. Cost of lumber, cost of OSB, cost of different materials is going up, and so the predictability in that part of the business is a little bit less than it normally would be. And so we're wholesaling more now, probably than we ever have when it comes to the percentage of what we're rehabbing and wholesaling. And that's more so just because I'm conservative. I'm not saying that the rehabbing now is bad in any way, shape, or form. We're just not taking on projects that are even questionable in our operation. And we're just we're successfully wholesaling projects, and we're making some really good money doing it. And it's hard to when we have a projection that we could potentially make 50 or 60 grand on a rehab, and we can get an assignment fee somewhere near there to say, oh yeah, let's just rehab it. So there's a few factors there. So my advice, I don't really have a prediction. My advice is to protect your downside like it's been from day one. Hope for the best and prepare for the worst. And just take advantage of what's going on in the market, but don't let your guard down. Don't take it for granted. And don't think it's never going to end, because it will. At some point it will. It's just the question: is it going to be 3 months? Is it going to be 6 months? Is it going to be 3 years? When the market's going to do whatever it does, and there's so many variables in creating that situation. A lot of people are predicting that it's going to fall hard sooner than later. I'm actually kind of optimistic that the government's going to do something that's going to prop us up a little longer than necessary, and we're going to last a little longer. When you think about it, in 2001 ish, 2001, when the tech bubble burst, I guess 1999 it burst ish, and they dropped interest rates and they started using the real estate market to prop the economy up. It's kind of the same philosophy. And that run lasted from around early 2001 ish, 2002 to about 2006, 2007. And it wasn't until they really, the interest rates crossed a certain threshold, and when they're raising the interest rates, it wasn't until it crossed a certain threshold that it really stalled that market growth in the economy. So here, again, it's just the question of, what are they going to do? Are they going to do some crazy low programs again? Are they going to continue to keep interest rates low? Are they going to throw a stimulus package at the market? How much are these business closures and job closures going to affect us overall? One of the things that I can see as a business, especially a restaurant or something that has that start, stop struggle, is eventually the employees are going to get tired of getting laid off, and they may go find another job. If I run a business, a service business, and now I have to reopen again, and my employees have found another job, and I either don't have the availability of employees, and I have to go out and rehire and retrain and all that. I mean, those things really impact businesses in a negative way, and that's some of the stuff that's not being talked about. you know, if I'm a server and or a bartender, which I have been a bartender and a busser and a dishwasher and everything else in my life, um, and my job is starting and stopping and starting and stopping and starting and stopping, am I going to stick around and wait? Or am I going to go find something else? And in some cases, some of these people are finding other things to do, and and that's going to have an impact on business greater than I think just the issues they're already running into. Because really, at the end of the game, in the real estate game or any other business you're in, your people, good people, are what really makes your business. You can have all the genius in the world, but if you don't have good people around you, you don't have a real business. And if these people are obviously losing customers, losing revenue, losing their ability to stay open, and then on top of that, they're losing their good people, we could see um, some really interesting issues shake out. So, um, and let's see here, Colleen. So good advice. Still good for quick fix and flip, as long as they're not too expensive. Even expensive is not, depending on your market. I wouldn't say it's something to avoid, but it's how big is the project, right? Like how long are you going to be in it? Like time kills everything. We always say in this business that time kills all deals. And that's so true. You're talking to a seller, you don't ask for the close. You could potentially lose that seller to somebody else. You send out the contract, you don't control the process, you could potentially lose that seller again by not signing the contract. You get the contract but you don't put in an escrow. All these mistakes people make along the way, where it expands time on a transaction and it could kill a deal, right? And it's the same thing with rehabs. The longer you're in them, not only do you have potential costs with interest and holding costs and everything else that we're all worried about, but you also have the potential for risk in any kind of market shift. And so, really, for us, if we're going to rehab, it's got to be a very, very clean rehab, where we know the variables and we're able to get in and get out of the project. And if that's not the case, then I'm not going to do the project. I'm not going to get anything that I'm going to be in for 6 months or a year. I'm just not. And that doesn't mean it's wrong for you if that's what's right for you. It just means it's not right for me. And in my business, because I lost everything in 2008 and I'm just not willing to roll the dice. I'm a big, I almost have a big control freak, because I'm really not in a lot of ways. But when it comes to my business and, yeah, when it comes to rehabs, I want to make sure that we have, a lot of variables accounted for and that we have control. So otherwise, we're just not going to do it. Where is your business going next year? Are you doing more wholesale, less flips? So right now, we're doing more wholesale. We're doing more wholesale right now. We're being very picky about anything we're considering to rehab. And again, it's the market. I mean, we're getting really, really good numbers for our assignments, um, we're not having to be in projects that are questionable. So, I will rehab, and at some point, we may kick that rehab engine up more. But right now we're wholesaling more. In 2020, look, the reality is here, like guys, I've been doing this for 17 years. I lost everything once. I had to rebuild again in 2012. I've been running this game at a high level for a period of years, and now it's like I realized I have what as far as my real estate business goes, I realize I have what I want. I have a good team. I have a good fundamental structure. I have a good process. And all I want to do is just dial that process in. I want to make more money. I don't have to scale anymore. I just don't. I have other projects I'm working on now, other potential partnerships I'm working on. We're doing the virtual summits. We have the mastermind community. I have some coaching stuff out now, and I want to focus on some of those things that excite me, and still run my real estate business. I will never not run my real estate business, but I don't want to. I don't need to do 500 deals a year. I just don't. I don't need that. Um, at a certain point, it becomes not worth it. And, the growth versus the reward, right? So right now it's profitability. Can I squeeze more money out of that same stone, that I got, a year ago or 2 years ago? If I'm flipping a property, can I just make more money on that property? And that's really fundamentally what we're working on doing, dialing in our marketing, dialing in our data, dialing in our KPIs, and trying to make more money. If that means that the ROI, when we're looking at the exit on a project, is as good or better on a wholesale, or even close to being as good, we're probably going to take it as a wholesale. I'll always be a rehabber. It's in my blood. It's who I am as an individual. And I love taking something that's just crap and turning it into something awesome. But that doesn't mean that that's what I have to do all the time. So yeah. At the end of the day, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a businessman, and I want to make more money. I just got called greedy, by the way, by somebody in my office because we closed at $57,000 in the last 2 days, two properties. So this week we're 60 something thousand in, and I was like, I want my $100,000 weeks back, and she's like, you're greedy. But anyway, um, so um, yeah, so that's where we're at. We were hitting consistently $100,000 weeks there for a while, and then in the last couple of weeks we haven't been hitting $100,000 weeks. I want to always hit those, but that's just an ego thing. Let's see here, Tim. So, what time does the virtual summit start tomorrow? Haven't received an email with a link or time. You should be getting an email with a link or time either tonight or tomorrow morning. I will double check on that. It's coming, and the reason why is because the link is different for each day. I just want to be honest with you. It's 8 a.m. Pacific, so that would be 11 a.m. Eastern time is the start for the virtual summit. So 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. virtual, 11 a.m. Eastern, and so that would be 10 Mountain, not Mountain Central, 10 Central. Don't even hold me to my times. So that's when it starts. And again, we're just going to be unloading some valuable information there for everybody who's a part of it, and it's going to be fun. So it's a higher level event. I got a whole talk on marketing at a high level that I'm going to be dropping some gold nuggets on, and really excited about sharing. Um, just a lot of really good knowledge. We got some amazing speakers. We got some of our inner circle elite mastermind members talking about team building and systems and processes and all kinds of really, really cool stuff that I'm excited about. So, uh, Matt Smith, what gets you to 100K? What gets you to the 100K week? Well, this week, one more close, but I don't think it's going to close till next week. So the it's having enough deals close in the week, obviously. Right now we're at, see, 20, 30, 57, 60, 62,000 for the week. So if I had one more fat one close or two more, okay ones close, I'd be at my 100K for the week. But like I said, the ones that I would love for them to close next week are following ones that love to close this week are falling into next week. So I don't get my 100K week, but maybe next week, fingers crossed, right? So it's just look, tongue in cheek, I talk about it because I love it when they happen and they happen consistently. And but honestly, I mean, who am I to complain about what we're doing and what we're accomplishing here? You're excited about the summit, Matt. I am too. I am very excited about the summit and looking forward to it. I just love dropping information and sharing with people. So, are you using REI Sift lists? No, I'm not. Oh, REI Sift for sorting lists. Sorry, I read that wrong. REI Sift for sorting lists. So no, I'm not. I'm not using REI Sift for sorting list. We have a very complicated, I think, system. It's not actually not that complicated, but I buy data from various sources. Some of our data comes pre-stacked for us. And we have a situation where we get all the data in the entire county, and it comes, basically with what's the best, what's the second best, what's the third best. And so we have that avenue, and then I get data from other sources as well, depending on the market, and essentially deploy that way. So I don't handle my list stacking and sorting myself. I do kind of control pulling data as much as I possibly can. But yeah, so but I'm not using REI Sift. Victor, what is your ideal time frame to complete a rehab of a home? Well, it depends on obviously the rehab itself. If it's a cosmetic, a general cosmetic rehab, probably 3 weeks is reasonable, depending on the level, right? But right in there, 3 to 4 weeks. If you're starting to get into like moving some walls and stuff or something that's a little bit more complicated, then you're probably going to be around 6 weeks. So 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the level. And if you're in a high end or a major, like a major, like worst case scenario renovation, then you can be upwards of 6 to 8 weeks. We don't like to be in anything that's going to be more than 8 weeks ever. If that's the case, then our team is failing us. So typically, when we have projects last longer than 8 weeks, it's like a full blown, like, a high end properly with like a full blown gut job. And then we run into issues like we had one last year where it was this time last year. And we've had been somewhat of a drought for I don't know how many years, so we didn't expect rains to be the way they were, and so we did the landscape last, like you usually do in a project, and it rained for a month, and the ground was just guck and garbage and sludge, and we couldn't do the landscaping. We had to actually sit on the project for about 3 weeks before we could do the landscaping. So we were in the project about 10 weeks because of that. And so and that's just like you learn from that, right? You do a system and you say, okay, well, if we're going to do a project, it's going to be X amount of time during this period of time that we have potential for rain. We're going to do the landscaping and up front. We're going to do the landscaping first, or at least as much of as we can, so we don't run into those issues. So, but yeah. So most of the rehabs, though, most people are going to tackle. They're taking 8 weeks when you really should take 3 or 4. And ideally, I'm not going to be in any rehab that I'm not going to be done with in 3 to 4 weeks. It's going to be done and back on the market in 3 to 4 weeks because I don't want to be caught in any shifts. So, like I said, anything that's going to be out there 8, 12, 10 weeks, I'm probably not going to do just because that's where my comfort zone is. Doesn't mean I'm right. I just want to be clear, just where my comfort zone is. So, cool questions, people. Keep them coming. I like this. This is a cool interaction. Like I mentioned earlier, this is the last live I'm going to be doing until the end of the year. I'm traveling next week, and then the following week I'm going to be doing some planning with my several of my businesses for wrapping up the year and getting 2021 off to a bang. And then the following week after that, obviously, is Christmas and everything else and New Year's. So I won't be doing these lives. I may be doing some random stuff, but I just want to put it out there. So if you want knowledge bombs, you want to be ready for what is going to happen in 2020 and 2021, and you want to wrap up 2021 in a big way, and you want to look at some of the things we're doing in our business to make sure that we are sustaining and we are the most profitable we possibly can be. Make sure that you check out the Flip Dog Virtual Summit and just go to flipdogvirtualsummit.com and become part of that so that we can help you crush your business and make lots of money. So, all right. Do we have any more questions here, people? No? Give me more questions. Just checking something here. All right. Let's see here. So, okay. I'm not going to stay on for a long time today. I've had a busy day and I haven't had a chance to even eat lunch. So, but I do want to make sure I get the questions answered and fulfilled. So I'll give you guys a few more minutes to ask whatever you want to ask, and then I'm going to go eat. But so wrapping up the year, like I mentioned in the beginning of this, wrapping up the year, just getting ready for 2021. I think that there's going to be some big opportunities for everybody. I think that the one thing I want to say, I think here is identity, right? I got asked the question um, about rehabbing and wholesaling and what I'm going to do more of. Don't get trapped in an identity. Don't get trapped in feeling like you have to be one or the other. And just do what's best for your business. A lot of us get caught up in the highlight reel, somebody else's highlight reel. And we think we got to chase what they have. A lot of us get caught up in shiny objects and think we got to chase what somebody else is doing. And a lot of us get caught up in somebody else's business and think that we need to have what they have and, or to be a certain way. And at the end of the day, people, this is just about running a healthy business and having a great team and making a ton of money. And I want to make sure y'all keep that perspective. So, okay, Matt Smith, biggest challenge for me is keeping up with comparing data against county to see if it is sold. Do you manually compare or have a web scraper? I don't even bother with it, buddy. We pull, for instance, like we pull an equity list. We pull that equity list like once a year. And if we mail to something that's already sold, we mail to something that's already sold. The amount of time and energy that it takes for me to try to go through and figure out if something's sold, or to have somebody else do it, or to make sure the information is accurate, is not worth the few cents that I spend, the couple of bucks I spend on on the direct mail, right? Or the 8 cents I spend on skipping. And if you're not skipping with Skip Force, by the way, make sure you go to check that out. You can go to flipdog.com/skip, or flipdog.com/skip force. And they have skip tracing, great data for 8 cents. I mean, seriously, it's half the price of everybody else. And that's where I'm doing my data. So we skip, I'm already doing another big one. We skipped about 100,000 records through them in the last 6 or 8 weeks or so. I just sent them off a copy of a HUD, $50,000 deal I made off of the data I skipped through them, and cold called to. I'm making really good money using their data, and I'll have to do a case study on that one and a few others that we have with them. But and I don't go back. I don't try to scrape that. I don't try to figure out what's already sold and what hasn't. I throw it in, and the cold callers call it, and it's already sold. It's already sold, Matt. So I hate to say, we're very structured and organized and systematized in our business in a lot of ways. We control a lot of things, but then there's things that like don't matter to me. I like when I door knocked, for instance, I didn't care if the house had equity or not. I just put a list together and I went and door knocked. And if the person said they wanted to sell, then I looked to see if they had equity, right? I mean, because I don't want to spend all this time trying to figure out something, if it has equity or not, and then the person never even answered the door and have a conversation with me. So it's time ROI, and taking that time to try to figure out something like that. To me, at the volume that we do things, it's just not worth it. Hopefully that answers your question. It doesn't really give you a direct answer. So, Tim, what are some good ways to start learning rehab costs? Tim, one of the ways is what you're doing. Do it. You're learning that way. Rehab Estimator Pro is a great product for helping you. You don't necessarily have to learn it, but it helps you evaluate a property, and the numbers are pretty spot on. You can go to fliptalk.com/estimate and check out Rehab Estimator Pro, and you can even get 50% off. You go to fliptalk.com/estimate, and you can just plug. You just click boxes, and it'll estimate for you. And they're actually, Tim, they're from the from your area of the United States. I'm not sure, they're not from your state, but they're just from that side of the United States. But great product, great product. We're actually using it here in our business. The only other way to do it is to, I mean, you just have a lot of conversations. I learned people by jumping in. I learned by jumping in and going to Home Depot. I can tell you the floor plan of every Home Depot in my city, and just checking out what things cost, and having conversations with contractors, and then talking, having bids done and looking at bids, and the numbers just stuck. We're so efficient now. We can do a certain like cents times something, in some cases times the square footage of the house, say 50 cents times the square footage of the house, and I'll tell you how much does it cost us for plugs and switches, right? We're so dialed in, but that didn't happen overnight. I went through a process of going through every item we use in a project, and creating a link to Home Depot, and put it in an Excel spreadsheet with the pricing to just dummy proof it for the contractors we worked with. So that's really, I mean, there's nothing that beats experience. Talking to other rehabbers that you may be wholesaling to is a great way to really start to get an idea of what they're spending on things and why, and maybe gives you an idea on where you can even ask for discounts. Maybe they're getting discounts on things and spending less money. I rehab less than most, and so there's some people that still rehab less than me. So but there's nothing that beats getting there and doing it. If you want a software that's kind of done for you, Rehab Estimator Pro at fliptalk.com/estimate is a great, great tool. I think it's like $20 a month with that link. Um, so, and then, yeah, experience. There are formulas. When you've done a rehab, you can look at, you just do formulas like, okay, you paid X for the roof. So how many square feet is a house? Now divide what you paid. You paid 10 grand for the roof. It's 2,500 square feet. Just do a simple math. Divide $10,000 by 2,500 square feet, and that gives you a dollar amount, right? And so that dollar amount, you can take that dollar amount and you can say, okay, so most roofs times this dollar, square footage of the house times this dollar amount is going to give me what the roof should cost me, ballpark. You start to learn that windows are roughly $300 on average. You just count the windows in the house, because there are big ones and small ones and medium ones, and times it times $300 or 330, whatever you're comfortable with, and that's going to give you about what it should cost you to do windows. And so you start to realize, that these things are just mathematical. You can go and, then you can get it almost dialed into as much as, well, we know a cosmetic repair is $24 times the square footage of the house, right? If it needs X, Y, and Z. And if it's a light cosmetic, then it's this. And if it's a major repair, it's that. And you start doing these equations. I don't know. I hope that helps. Yeah, every market's a little different, but most markets are generally the same. And it'll give you really good, kind of a really good idea where to go. So, um, Matt, you're probably wasting a lot of time. You might be. I mean, I don't know how much effort you're putting into it. When I first started, I used to analyze deals before the call. Yeah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to analyze deals before the call, um, because it is not. It's not efficient. It's not. You don't have the deal. There's no reason to figure it out. You don't have somebody who wants to talk to you. There's no reason to figure it out. My voice is going. People have been talking. I've literally been in meetings since 8 a.m. this morning. Um, Okay, I think that's good for today. Um, fliptalkvirtualsummit.com. Don't miss it. It is tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. We start at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to drop some bombs. This is a higher level conversation than we had in our last virtual summit. We're going to be digging into systems and processes, higher level marketing conversations, all kinds of really cool things to get you guys ready for 2021. And I am doing coaching now. I know we talked about we have the mastermind, which is something you need to check out as well. But I am doing coaching now. So if you're interested in what we have going on the coaching side, make sure that you're messaging me on Facebook or Instagram or sending me an email at donafliptalk.com. And we are really working on building some people and helping some people be successful. So so that's what I got for you guys. I hope you guys all have a happy, happy, happy weekend. And this has been good. So I appreciate the questions. And I look forward to seeing you all. Matt, thank you very much, buddy. And you have an amazing day. Tim, you have an amazing day. I don't know who else is on here still. Victor, have an amazing day as well. So until I talk to you all again, have an amazing day.